Hey everybody, it's Ricky Medlock from Leonard Skinner. That's right, babies. And you are now listening to the Little Ozzy podcast right here for your listening pleasure. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to the Little Ozzy podcast. Today we have a special show. All your guitar buffs, enthusiasts, and bass players of all kinds. We want to welcome Mr. Tony Whitford to the show today. He is the owner of Worth Guitars and the chief designer, correct? How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing well, man. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. I'm glad you could be a part of this. I thought it would be a cool idea. You seem to be making some waves, no pun intended, down there in Virginia Beach.
Right.
I know lots of guys and lots of friends and people that are in other bands that they love your work, including my new stepson, Johnny Lawrence, the one and only. Cradle and Little Ozzy Guitars had one built for you. So we have Johnny here too. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing swell. I've really looked forward to this and excited to ask some deep questions.
Yeah, you know, Tony, it's really weird because I'm so used to asking other musicians, you know, and people of, you know, about their past and things like this. And what did you do for a living, or what do you still do for a living? What is your primary career?
Well, I've always worked with wood. I've always been a architectural mill worker.
Nice.
So I've always built cabinets and doors and staircases and furniture and all of that type of thing. So I've always had a background in wood. And I've been goofing around on the guitar since I first discovered one leaning in the corner at my cousin's house and started banging around on it. And so the two things just kind of melted together. And I was fascinated by them, and the love of woodworking and the love of guitars both just kind of melted together into me wanting to build guitars.
That's an incredible story. Everybody has a story. You know, it's beautiful work. Some of the guitars blow my mind. They're beautiful, man. You do such a great job. How long have you been doing this? It's just primary guitar, man.
Professionally, I've been building guitars for about 3, maybe 4 years now.
Wow. You're really on a roll, man.
So I always goofed around with them a little bit, but I was never very serious about it until, you know, my sons got old enough to kind of do what they do without having to be babysat and watched all the time. You know, they're adults now, so
yeah,
it was a good opportunity for me to kind of start a second career, so to speak.
Yeah, well, you're doing great. I'll never forget coming over there and seeing your workshop and looking at your guitars and playing a few things, and I was just amazed, and couldn't be a nicer guy. Yeah, it's really cool. Johnny, I know that he plays is his primary one, man. I mean, he plays his Jackson some, but he plays his he calls his T model, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, T-style.
I have a question.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
What I don't understand is someone that calls you that's a musician, a guitarist specifically, they're a strange breed. We know that. Anyways,
yes.
When someone calls you, if I was to call you and say, Tony, here's the feel I want. I love a maple neck. I play a lot of lead guitar. I play rock music. I want a really good solid body. And I give you my vision. How do you translate my vision into your craft?
Well, we have a lot of conversations. I ask you questions like, what kind of neck do you like? What kind of wood do you like? Are you looking for something that's painted, or are you looking for a really nice top? What scale length do you prefer? What radius on your fretboard do you prefer? Do you have a guitar that has a neck on it that you like a lot? That type of thing. And if you do, if you're like, this is my favorite enough information in my head to know exactly what it is that you're looking for. And then, if I have questions, I'm constantly in contact with you about it, and we basically just go from there and work out the details. I'll do some drawings or sketches if I need to. But most guitar players and bass players also pretty much have a good idea of what it is they want and what they're looking for. You don't have to do a whole lot of design because musicians pretty much know what they like when it comes to that type of thing and what sound they're looking for and what feel they're looking for. They've been playing long enough to know what it is that they want, and so it's not as hard as you may think to get that vision into reality.
Yeah. It's a lot of math work, I'm sure, too. Wow.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of technical, obviously technical work goes into it, things you have to lay out and make sure you're doing it the right way. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and you get set up to do things in a way that you don't have to think about it as much anymore because you're so used to doing it and you have tools set up to do those jobs. And so it starts to become a lot more fun because you can really then at that point just start to just create instead of sweating over every little thing,
Yeah. I was just so blown away with Johnny's. Johnny, I've never really asked you, what is your whole story, behind wanting the guitar, and how did you meet Tony? And
So, I knew the band Ever After first, and Steve Stevens had a guitar there, which was like the first and second guitar that you ever built, Tony, right?
He plays the second one and the fourth one.
oh,
Okay, yeah. So he was one of the first endorsees of Worth then, and I had watched them a few times because of my friend Katie Moss, who's the drummer for them, and I started going there and watching them play, and I think I had played Tony's Ghost guitar once before,
Yeah.
and I just really enjoyed it. And after doing that, I was just like, man, I need a guitar myself. It's going to take a little bit of time of investment and stuff like that, but I gotta have one. So I had my number one guitar before I had this guitar built, which was another T-style Fender Mexican standard Telecaster. And it was just great because my dad had gotten it for me, and I guess he was thinking I was going to play, probably some classic rock sort of thing on there. But I went down more of the road of grunge. So I started playing that, and the bridge pickup was so beefy on it, it sounded like a humbucker in the back.
what are they?
I think they're Fender stock pickups in there.
Wow.
And I was like, man, so I want something that kind of caters to that more so. So I was like, Tony, this is what I want. And Tony, can you kind of go through the process of what it took to create that guitar and what were the hardest parts about it and, just what made that guitar unique?
I thought it was pretty cool that you were playing in School of Rock.
Right.
And you're a young guy, and you're up there, and I can tell that you obviously love what you're doing. And every time I saw you, because we come out and help support you guys, School of Rock, and which is extremely important as far as I'm concerned, to teach young guys and young girls, the importance of rock and roll and how to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
To keep that dream alive. Anyway, so every time I talked to you, I could tell you were very excited about doing it and everything, and so we worked out a deal to get it done. And we just, had those conversations, like I said, and we worked it out, the details that you wanted. And actually, the hardest part of your guitar was the finish.
Right.
That matte white into black burst, that was pretty challenging to pull off to where I was satisfied with it.
And we'll post pictures of this afterwards because that finish is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was finishing is probably one of the hardest parts of building a guitar, as far as I'm concerned. The woodworking, I've been doing woodworking so long that that's almost like the easy part to me.
Right.
Because I'm just familiar with that process
Yeah.
of how to work with wood and the tools that go along with it. But the finish, which is so important on a guitar, I had a pretty big learning curve on that, but I've finally figured out the right products to use and the right way to apply them. So, but yeah, that guitar, that's a cool guitar, that Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
That's a cool name.
Our Black Hole Sun. That's a great guitar, man. I love the sound of that guitar too.
Yeah, man. I always enjoyed it. And,
Yeah, you played that on your new CD.
Yep. I played that on the track Treasure, and a lot of the things that just needed, more distortion, more gain on it, and less hum, because there's a lot of hum that comes out of my other Telecasters, so that definitely helps with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you started out on that guitar with like a coat of white on the whole thing, correct? And then you did the other layers.
Actually, I did the opposite of that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I put black on it first.
Uh-huh.
And then I put the sunburst on top of the black,
Wow.
trying to blend the white into the gray. And then a little bit of black around the edges, but I put the black base coat down first.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm glad I got that straight now.
Uh-huh.
So while we're on the topic of finishes, you started doing like that quilted maple tops for guitars, like the PRS style, and I saw you say in a separate thread that those were especially hard to get down, and it's one of my favorite parts to watch you stain those quilted maple tops and just watch them come to life with the color. And I'm sure that's one of your favorite parts too, and I just wanted to see kind of what makes that so difficult and why is it so great.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch the wood come to life. It's beautiful on its own, but when you add some color to it, all of the nuances that are hidden come to the forefront. They really start to show up, all the small grain details that you can't see until the wood is enhanced by something. And for the most part, those one-color finishes are fairly easy to do. The one that I did on Full Moon Wave, I was trying to get a green into turquoise kind of mixture, and that was pretty tough because the colors were fighting against each other. As I would try to blend one into another, it would kind of overtake it, and I couldn't get them to, I couldn't get it to do what I saw in my head. When you try to do something, no matter what it is, whether you're writing a song or you're, painting a picture or whatever, songwriting is probably the closest. You have a sound in your mind that you want to hear. It's the same thing with what you want to see when you're trying to create something. And you battle against that. I can't quite get it, and until it finally starts to come around, you have to fight with it a little bit,
Yeah.
until you become satisfied with it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw you had to redo that whole finish because it wasn't what you were expecting.
Well, I don't hesitate to just start over if it's not the way it's supposed to be.
I was going to ask you, that's why you have such a beautiful product, man, because, what do you do in those situations when you put all this finish on and then I'm just not happy with this? I mean, what do you do? You got to strip it down?
I sand it off and start over.
Wow. That's awesome.
It has to be right. You can't just, you can't just say, okay, well, that's good enough and let it go because, not only am I not going to be satisfied with it, but the customer probably isn't going to be satisfied with it either. And as it gets passed down through the years, your name is on there. People are going to be, this finish kind of sucks or whatever, or it doesn't play well or whatever the case may be. I don't ever want to hear that from someone. I want them to be happy with it. I want them to know that, I've done everything I can do to try to make it as good as I can make it for them.
Yeah.
And stand behind it all the way,
Yeah.
So if it isn't right, I just sand it off and start over again.
Right.
And I've done that a few times, more times than I'd like to admit. Because if it's not right, it's it's not right. You know what I mean?
That's right. You got quite a clientele going on down there. I see those, I believe, 710 boys, Les Mosley and those guys. They look like they're fully endorsed by now, man. They play all these on their
they're great
CDs
guys.
too. Yeah, they're really nice guys.
They're good guys. That's a great band. 710 Oil is an awesome band. Local guys here in Virginia Beach. And, Gary Hammond, the guitar player.
Love that guy.
He's a great dude, real good guy. And he's another one of the guys that kind of stepped up right at the beginning and said, I want to be a part of it, so to speak, and help support me, and bought a guitar and paid good money for it, and I built his idea of what it should be with his finish, and the GH1, which is one of our standard models.
Mm-hmm.
That's his guitar, Gary Hammond 1.
Nice.
So he was really important in that, and of course Chris is near and dear to my heart. He's a member of the family, and put one in his hands. And Les Mosley is another beautiful human, and the guys have bass in his hands, and they're all fully stocked, man, ready to rock down here.
I love to see it when I see their pictures all the time. They got either the Worth guitar in their hand or their Worth shirt on. That looks so cool,
that's
man.
a beautiful thing.
It is. It's got to be exciting for you, man. It's like you said, anything that your God-given talent, man. And I look at even my daughter here. She's just started through all this, all this coronavirus, and everybody's just laid out. Everybody I talk to, from Ricky Medlock to the smallest person on the totem pole, man. Everyone is sitting down in their home, reflecting. What's going to happen? What can I do? And my daughter picks up the brush again and gets a little more serious. And boom, she's at the post office every other day mailing them out now. And it's just beautiful to see that you can take something like your God-given talent, woodwork, and use it and get some enjoyment out of it and do what you were made to do and feed the family. It's just wow.
Yeah, it is a blessing, and I've been very blessed in that. The local community really helped support the whole dream and, got behind it. Bought the T-shirts, bought the hats, supported it, shared the videos, shared the photos. It really has a lot to do with this local music community here in Virginia Beach. Just a great, great group of people. Everybody helps each other, supports each other. And I just can't say enough good things about how cool all the musicians are around here in supporting each other and trying to make sure that everybody is, getting their share of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those guys are...
Kind of hard for me to describe what I'm trying to say, but...
Well, it's true,
a great thing to see people doing that,
It is. It's true. When I had, some hard times last year with the band, and I had to replace them all, and, I had all these shows lined up, and Mark Dunn and Clint Sutton and what's the bass player for the DeLoreans.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna kill me for this one, man. Yeah, my mind's just a blank. But those guys stepped right up, came right in there, man. And they learned all that. They learned everything and went with me to Carolina, and man, they really did it. They stepped up, and it was really a good thing, to support each other. That's what it's all about, Got to help.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a good thing to see. Artists in general, musicians and artists all seem to be the kind of people who want to try and help each other out, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, so it's been really good. Like I say, I've just been blessed that everyone got behind what I do and are kind of happy to see it happening, and it's a beautiful thing. What I need to do is get some guitars out there in the world, so hopefully this are you still there, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had someone beeping in. So
It's okay. It's all good.
So I was really excited to see Charlie Starr's video coming up. That's kind of cool. I've always been a big fan of him.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing, man.
His interview coming up. I need to get a guitar in his hands.
Oh man, isn't that the truth? I'm going to send him some links.
So
And
I'm counting on you to hook me up.
You know what? I was thinking that. I was thinking, I don't ever, a lot of people, they like to, try to take credit or do something. But, I'm sitting here. I got a call yesterday. They were at the post office, and Tasha and I were riding to the store, and my phone was ringing, and I was ignoring it. I looked down, and it said Ricky Medlock, and I was like, "No way! I'm not like friends with this guy now." And he's calling me, so I answered the phone. And I'm like, "What's up, Rick?" And he's like, "What are you doing, man? I just want to call and see how'd your interview go with y'all." And he calls me to shoot the shit, and I'm like,
Man, that's cool.
I just can't believe this, And then Charlie Starr's like, I was telling the story you'll hear on the interview, when I went to Guitar Center to see him. I met him years back, when I started Little Ozzy. And when I walked in, they were doing an Unplugged, and the whole store was full. And I walked in, and he stopped what he was doing over the mic and said, "Little Ozzy has entered the building." And, I mean, everybody's so humble, and everybody's so nice. And it's just like, it meant the world to me because I was going through something at the time. And, I was like, wow, man, these guys are just normal guys, And I would love to see one of them pick it. I would love see one of them pick your guitar up and the fire start, man.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna definitely shoot him links. I'm gonna shoot him your links.
All right, good.
Damn
Yeah,
right.
I've always wanted to get a guitar in Charlie's hands. I love his style, and shoot all of them, man. I'm a guitar player nut anyway. I love the sound of guitars and watching people play them. And like I say, I've always been fascinated by guitars, so it's a beautiful thing. But I would definitely like to get one in Charlie's hands, or a couple of the other guys out there, just traveling around. And I do have one going to Japan, which is pretty cool.
Do you?
Yeah, man, I'm building one for a guy named Aaron Decker, who lives in Japan. So that's kind of a cool thing, man.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, worldwide.
That's big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, already. You can light a fire over there, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty up.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over there. A lot you don't see. There's such a different music scene over there. Like that Brian Tishy I was talking to the other day. He said, he was on tour with a huge band over there. They're huge. I've never even heard of them, but over there they're like Nirvana. It's like wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, a lot of people forget, because we live in the United States, and of course we're centered on our own culture, that there are bands in other countries that are huge that we don't never really pay that much attention to, because they just don't sell that well here. But in that country, they kick ass. So.
Oh yeah, you're right, man. Well, look, listeners out there that are interested in connecting with you, please give me your website info. Holler out right now, because Worth Guitars is definitely worth it, and they are worthy.
Right on. So it's WorthGuitarsUSA.com.
WorthGuitarsUSA.com.
WorthGuitarsUSA.com. And of course, you can find us on Facebook at WorthGuitarsUSA.com, and Instagram at Worth52 on Instagram.
Worth52. Worth52
on Instagram. Yeah.
Nice. That's great, man. Tony, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. When we were at your house that day, you had an acoustic, a really, really old one. What was that? I can't remember. Johnson?
I'm trying to remember.
It was something really old you fixed up and you showed me. That stood out in my mind.
I don't know. I might have been repairing one for someone
Could have
at
been.
that time. It may not be mine.
Yeah, it was.
I have an old, heck, now I can't remember the name of it. Not Gibson, but the other family of Gibson.
Epiphone.
Called Epiphone. Yeah, I can't believe I couldn't remember.
I knew that all
I had a
right.
blank. I had a blank there for a second. Yeah, I have an old Epiphone that I've had forever that I bang around on. That's been faithful for years. And I'm about to start doing some acoustics. I have
Whoa.
some very choice pieces of rosewood and spruce set aside to do some acoustics. I just gotta create more time in a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I need 28-hour days instead of 24-hour days.
Right? That's cool. Well, heck yeah. Well, Charlie Starr, you know you're listening, and hey, he wants to put a guitar in your hand, brother. Hit up Worth Guitars. Yeah, that would be so cool. I would love to see that, man.
Yeah, we saw your Blackberry Smoke T-shirt the other day doing one of those videos. Playing
I'm
cover.
a fan, no doubt.
So that was fun.
I love them. I love to go see them live. They're a lot of fun live.
Oh, they're great, man. Yeah, they blow my mind. I was telling him, he blows my mind because every show they pull some cover out or something, and they did Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, and I was like,
oh, I know it. That's so cool.
man, they
Yeah,
killed
we
it.
were watching them one night, and I think they came out of. I can't remember the song they came out of. Well, they went right into When the Levee Breaks.
Oh, yeah, Zeppelin, man.
And just smoked it, It's like, yeah, go ahead, boy.
Well, they got a cover CD coming out. He said they went to Macon a couple months ago just for a day to actually do some video work and recorded like an EP, and it's like Little Richard song and some Almonds and oh man, it's a plethora of cool covers they did that they decided, wow, this is gonna be live. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That comes out in June, I think. So. But Tony, thank you so much, brother. What?
Okay. No, I was going to say, how was Ricky Medlock, man? Was he a good dude to talk with, man?
Man, I did his interview about 2 months ago, and my wife's always like, these guys were so nice, and they sound so nice. You need to call them and check on them. So I other day I was like, I ain't going to bother Ricky Medlock, So I called him on the phone, and it went to voicemail, and I said, see, he didn't even answer. I was in the kitchen and the phone rang back, and I was, hello, Ricky, hey man, what's up? I was like, what's going on? And then I was like, we talked for about a half hour, and then I said, hey man, could you do me a favor? Could you record me a commercial? And he goes, you got it. Hold on, all right, I was out. I'll hit you back. 5 minutes later, man, he sent me 2 recordings, one for Charlie Starr and one for the Lil Ozzy podcast, and I was like,
that's cool.
And then he calls.
Like a good dude.
Yeah, then he calls the next day and he's like, hey bud, what's up? Hey, like just shooting shit, talking fishing. I'm like, man, he's only like a couple hours from me here. He's in Fort Myers, so I'm like, I keep bugging him. Cool. We need to go fishing. I want to go fishing. My life will be completed. I've met Ozzy. If I can go fishing with Ricky Medlock, one of the Skinner boys, Blackfoot, I'm done, man. Go and put me to sleep. Yeah.
I hear you. All right, man. I hear you. All right.
Worth guitar. What is it? Website. One more.
WorthGuitarsUSA.com.
Beautiful. You heard it right here on the Little Ozzy Podcast. Thank you, Tony. Can't wait to see you again, buddy, when we get up there.
You're very welcome, and I appreciate it, man. You guys have a great evening.
You too, buddy.
All right, peace, Tony.